Hey everybody, and welcome back once again to Ancient Ways for Modern Days. My name is Mike Freeman. I am the pastor of Valley Christian Fellowship in Longview, Washington, and today we are in the book of Revelation, Revelation chapter 8. Now, if you haven't been with us since the beginning of the year, what we do here is we take a handful of minutes and we zero in on a portion of each chapter of the New Testament. We've covered everything in the New Testament up through the book of Revelation, and today we're in chapter 8, looking at God's judgments. And what I want us to consider here from the first 5 verses of Revelation chapter 8 is the significance of God's judgment upon the earth. Now, what we're going to see here is the continued plan of God's judgment upon the earth, judging the wickedness, the rebelliousness. And I want us to see simply how serious this is. Now, look with me at the text, picking up in verse 1. It says, "When the Lamb opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour." Now, this is significance. This is the seals being opened, which contain the judgments of God upon the earth. And this 7th seal is opened, and there is silence in heaven. I want us to remember we've seen the angels and the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders proclaiming God's glory. And now, as this is opened, it's like everyone is awestricken. This is significant. Verse 2. "Then I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and 7 trumpets were given to them." This is the continued unfolding of God's judgment upon the earth. "And another angel came and stood at the altar with a golden censer. And he was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar before the throne." So this censer and incense mixed with the prayers of the saints, and the smoke of the incense with the prayers of the saints rose before God from the hand of the angel. This is the prayers being mixed with the offering, this worship rising before God. "Then the angel took the censer and filled it with fire from the altar and threw it on the earth, and there were peals of thunder, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake." What you have here is this silence in heaven, followed by the censer being filled with incense and the prayers of the saints, and then it being thrown upon the earth as God continuing his judgment. Now, here's what I want us to see in this text, in these first 5 verses, is the awe that comes upon heaven as the earth is continued to experience judgment. This is not a light matter. This is not a laughing matter. This is not something that we should be casual toward as we consider God's judgment. We should desire judgment upon the earth as there is wickedness, and God's judgment is right and just. And yet, even as we desire it and as we want to see justice played out, there is this uneasiness about it because of the ramification, because of the great significance. We see this laid before the earth, but what I want us also to see is how you and I, we are actually spared because of the judgment that was poured out upon Christ. The judgment that was poured out upon Christ is a judgment of such significance that you and I, we now stand as those who have had the wrath of God toward us satisfied through Jesus and his death and resurrection. I just want us to understand how significant the cross of Christ is in the life of a believer. Sometimes we can become almost like casual about the cross of Christ. When Jesus died and rose again for my sins, I am saved, I've been redeemed, I've got a brand new life, and then I move on, almost like life's hunky-dory and things are, just fine. And yet, when we lose the significance, when we forget that this wrath of God we see in God's judgment upon the earth is the same wrath of God that was poured out upon Christ, we begin to understand the significance of our salvation. We are saved from God's wrath. What an incredible truth to reflect on. What an incredible truth as we see all of heaven silent. It reminds us of of the sky darkened at Christ's crucifixion, this solemn and terrifying and yet incredible moment. You see, our ancient way for our modern day, as we look to Revelation, as we consider God's plan of judgment upon the earth, it's to actually take this moment of silence for ourselves and remember the price that was paid so that we don't experience God's judgment anymore. This is a significant moment for us. And this is our ancient way for our modern day to remember the cross of Christ and remember the judgment that's coming, to ourselves be silent, be thankful, be in awe before the Lord. And in that, turn and worship him. This is the application of this text for us today. This is our ancient way for our modern day.